Hi everyone, Dot here, and welcome to week 20 of my final 50. Yes, it's week 20, but I thought it would be a good idea to take a look at some of the course corrections I've made over the last few weeks. Since starting the low carb lifestyle, I find it's really helpful to sort of always go back and assess how things are going. Are there any tweaks to my diet I need to do? Are there bad habits starting to pop up? What's working, what's not working? I learned if I don't assess where I'm at, it's easy to get frustrated. When I used to diet, if I didn't lose weight quickly enough, I just throw in a towel. There was never any meaningful assessment going on. And assessment, I've learned, is really important. For example, when I first tried drinking 100 ounces of water a day, I would track all of my water for the entire day. And then by the end of the day, I'd look at how well I did, what adjustments I need to make. Doing this, I was able to get up to 100 ounces a day. So that's an easy example, but measurement and assessment are usually very long term. When it comes to injuries, like my ankle, the healing process is going to take a long time. Weeks will go by and it seems like nothing's improving, but progress there can really only be measured by week to week, month to month. For my diet, I also like to take a longer view. I don't really make a whole lot of tweaks if the scale isn't jumping the way I want or if weight loss is really slow, but I still make regular assessments, usually on a monthly basis. Low carb eating is healthy, and there's a mounting body of evidence to prove it. Simply by going low carb, our bodies make changes for the better, and it's not always reflected in the scale. Now, having said that, I will make changes if the numbers on the scale are going in the wrong direction. So here we are, week 20. And since last week, I've lost roughly 12.5 pounds since I started the final 50. And since that first video in October, I've had some challenges at times to stay positive. I have to remind myself that now I'm struggling with menopause, something I didn't have to deal with when I lost the first 145 pounds. My body wants to gain more weight than ever. And of course, another factor is I started the final 50 right before the holidays. And I just recently had the 50th birthday, which hit me a little bit harder than I expected. These tend to be the times we gain the most weight, and yet I didn't gain any appreciable weight. In fact, overall, I've lost. And again, it comes down to assessment. I've lost well over 100 pounds since starting this journey, and the weight loss does slow down the closer you get to goal. I'm not making excuses. I'm taking the long view, and I'm very happy because I have less than 40 pounds to go. When we stare at the daily, weekly, or even monthly numbers, it's easy to lose sight of what's really important. After 20 weeks, I can tell you I feel much more energetic, stronger, and happier than I've ever felt. Okay, now let's talk about the 5 tweaks I've done over the last few weeks. Tweak 1, alcohol. There's something about cooking or watching something on the telly with my husband that makes us want to drink a little bit of wine. But I can't lose weight that way, and that's why I resolved at the beginning of the year to give up alcohol. But I have to be honest, I haven't been quite that successful in saying bye-bye to wine. That said, I am making a ton of progress. I used to have a few glasses a week, and that is way down. I can feel the difference in my energy levels and focus. But that's still no excuse in failing in my goal. However, I am rereading something at the moment, which I think will help me get back on track. And I'll have more on that next week. Tweak 2, I'm cutting back on fats, ever so slightly. When I cook my foods, I use mostly saturated fats. Butter, ghee, coconut oil, tallow, lard. My general rule is I use just enough to coat the pan, and you don't really need a whole lot to do that. Well, last week I caught myself a few times using too much. A large scoop of butter here, a big chunk of tallow there. I noticed this when I was making some eggs last week. For some reason, I used about 2 tablespoons of ghee, and I couldn't even taste my eggs. I tasted ghee. Yes, ghee is yummy, but that was ridiculous. Less than half that amount would have oiled the pan just fine. So now I'm back to measuring all my fats. And it's not because I'm worried about fat. I just don't want to consume more than I actually need. Tweak 3, not sitting around. This was one of my goals at the beginning of the year. Despite my ankle, I am moving around a lot more. Now when I sit down to do some work, I actually set an alarm that alerts me when I need to get up and move. Basically, I move around about 15 minutes every hour. Also on my birthday, my mother gave me a Fitbit watch, which is charging right now. I'm using this to track my steps. Now, they say you're supposed to do about 10,000 steps a day, but with my ankle, that ain't gonna happen. So instead, I'm shooting for half that amount each day. Tweak 4, cutting back on healthy snacks. That means way less nuts, cheese, and fat bombs. What I notice is that from time to time, I tend to overindulge. Meaning it's easy for me to grab a handful of nuts, even if I'm not hungry. And this tends to be a real problem when I get bored. I work from home all day, so my pantry and refrigerator are 10 feet away from me, and it's real easy to reach for something. One of my rules is I eat when I'm hungry and only when I'm hungry. Snacking while bored does not qualify. So for now, all of my snacks are officially banned from my home. That may seem extreme, but my ankle injury does keep me from doing a lot of things around the house or outside. So right now, I'm more likely to get bored. Tweak 5, I'm drinking more water. Over the last few weeks, I've noticed a dry feeling in my mouth right as I'm falling asleep. And sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night thirsty. Last week, I ignored it because I thought I was just coming down with a cold. But it was still going on after I got better. Then it hit me I wasn't drinking enough water. Now, if you follow the channel closely, you know that I try to shoot for half my weight in ounces in water daily. So last Friday, I made sure to track everything I drank: water, coffee, herbal tea. And because I tracked, I sure enough got my 100 ounces in. And when I went to bed, no thirst, and I slept through the night, and I felt fine. Making these 5 tweaks should help me going forward, as long as I'm consistent. To help me in that endeavor, I'm actually going to start back up an old habit that fell out of use, unfortunately. I'm keeping a food journal. Way back when, I wrote down everything that I ate or drank. That included portion sizes and the time I ate it. It was the best way for me to keep track of my carbs. I still track my carbs, but what I lost sight of was the amount of proteins, fats, or liquids I was consuming. But having to write it all down keeps me mindful of what I'm doing. A few of you have asked if I'm on MyFitnessPal. I am, but I'm not really a fan of crowdsourced foods. I find that many times the information that's on there when I'm trying to list something I ate is actually incorrect. There are a couple of other food tracking apps that are out there that I'm going to give a try. Now, a quick word about tracking and low-carb eating. There are low-carbers out there that will tell you don't have to track. Just eat until you're satisfied. And that certainly can work for you. But I'm not drinking enough water. I'm cooking with too much fat. I'm snacking too much. And I'm trying to cut back on alcohol. If I was tracking consistently, there's a very good chance those 4 problems wouldn't have popped up. Tracking isn't for everyone, but it's a tool that really helped me. So with that, let's see how I did. Last week, I tipped the scales at 208.1 pounds. This week, I'm at 207 on the nose. So I'm down a little over a pound, and that puts my weight loss since October at 13.6 pounds. And that is awesome. I am on the march to get back to Wonderland, or under 200 pounds for those of you not familiar with the term. I hope you enjoyed the video and that you'll hit like and share with your friends. And let me know what tweaks you've made to your low-carb lifestyle. Just put them in the comments box below. And until next time, I'll see ya.